All right. Oh, and then. Okay. So I have it set up so that I haven't called roll, Austin. I will be calling roll at the very end of class, just to make sure that everybody is here. So blink, blank, blink. What was I talking about? Oh, I have it set up so that you guys can have the subscripts on, if that's helpful for you. So I think it gives you the option to enable that once I turn it on. Does it? Did it pop up for you guys? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
never seen that before.
Yeah, so that's available. I personally, with kids at home, have subscripts on everything. I like need it. so yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it when I go back to the recording and you're able to do that, but I didn't know you could do it at the time you're recording.
Yeah, you can always ask your instructors to put on the subtitles. I think it's super helpful. So, all right. So first thing I wanted to talk about is talk about myself. Just introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Danica. I born and raised in San Diego. I didn't graduate from high school. That's there's your trivia piece number one. I took the challenge exam or something at 16. Moved out of my parents' house and decided to be a sandwich artist. And then I worked in restaurants and bars for most of my adult life. I started actually going to school. I started going to community college at Mesa, just for fun because I wanted to take some classes. And I slowly, over time of working in bars and restaurants, kind of got the feeling that maybe that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So that was where I kind of tried to buckle down and focus a little bit more and see if there was something that I could find in school that I enjoyed. I was a first generation. My parents didn't go to college, so and they were relatively successful, so I didn't really think that college was necessary. I certainly didn't think that I would become a scientist. I think if you had asked me when I was a kid, if I was going to be a chemistry teacher, if you asked my parents, they would have been like, yeah, that's not a thing. That's not happening. So yeah, I'd never met anybody in science. And then I took some science classes, like geology and astronomy, things like that. And I really liked those. So I was thinking originally I was going to go into geology. And then I had to take chemistry as one of the co-recs on that track. And my very first chemistry class, I was like, oh, this is what I'm into. This is what I like. So I was very fortunate in that I never took chemistry in high school. So I didn't have the terror associated with chemistry that I think a lot of people have. My first chemistry experience was a very good one. I did, like I said, take algebra 5 times. So I hated math. So I had taken all of my GE and was like on to taking all of my majors level courses before I was like, oh, I guess I have to take math at some point. And then I wanted to do a science major, which meant that I had literally 4 more years of math classes, 4 years of math classes. So I had already been in school for like 3 or 4 years before I decided on a major. So I think I was at Mesa College as a student for, I would say a million years, but it's probably around 8 or 9. So if you're on the long journey, I feel you. Yeah, so I put it off forever. But anyways, long story short, my chemistry was really where I was like, oh, this is why I do all of this stupid math that everyone made me do that I didn't want to do. So hopefully I can functionalize math a little bit for you, and at the very least make it somewhat empowering. This was the first time that I really felt empowered in a math class and not beaten down or bored or annoyed by it. So hopefully I can pass a little bit of that along to you. I eventually transferred to UCSD. I did my undergraduate in chemistry, and my focus and research there was atmospheric and environmental chemistry, modeling, molecular modeling. I had no idea what I wanted to do with that degree when I started getting closer to being finished. So then I decided to go to grad school. I went to grad school at University of Oregon, and after about 6 months realized that I can't handle living in a place where it rains that much. So I decided to get my master's and come back down to San Diego and teach. I also knew I really wanted to teach anyways. So I was like, I don't want to do something for 7 years that I don't really care about just to be able to get jobs that I also don't really want. So I wanted to be back in the community college classroom. So yeah, all of this was done while I was working 2 to 3 jobs. So if you're that person, I completely understand. I didn't have to work in grad school because they paid me to go to grad school. Thankfully, that's one of the cool things. If you guys are interested in that, they do pay for your school once you go to grad school. But yeah, so I very much understand the struggle of working. I didn't have kids when I went to school, so I know some of you guys have kids, and I have no flipping idea how y'all do that. Having kids is a whole nother level of complications. So anybody have kids here? A couple in my other classes.
Yeah, I do. Two.
Couple of people. Okay, cool. Yeah, hats off to you, my friends. I don't know how you do it. So if you want to talk more about any of my info, I'm happy to talk to you in office hours. But that's just a little bit about me. I started teaching when I came back to San Diego. I started teaching at Mesa College. So this is my very first teaching job. And I was an adjunct at just about every school in San Diego for 4 or 5 years. And then I got hired on full time. So this is my dream job. I always knew that I wanted to come back here and teach. But I'm familiar with both sides of the campus, right? Being a student and being an instructor. So yeah, so that's me. Very exciting stuff. I'm going to stop recording.